This study took some reflection, to say the least. And it literally just came about from observing what I have been seeing. You know, a lot of us have gone through situations and issues and might be going through some right now. And I find, and even I have been guilty of this as well, you know, that we may spend our time reminding ourselves of the state of we're in instead of the state we want to be in. And what I find is that we can focus on, you know, complaining about a situation instead of looking at what we want to get to. So essentially, we're focusing on the pain instead of praying for the outcome. A perfect example of this is with Brother Job, or dear Brother Job, who lost family, lost his livelihood, and even had his health impacted. And when you thought that he can turn to his friends for comfort and for help and assistance, they told him that he received these things because of his sin. It must have been because of his sin. And the long story short, Job did complain about what happened. He cursed the day that he was born. He was upset, rightfully so. You know, the things he went through is not easy for anyone to go through. But at the end, after all that his friends have said and what he said, God intervened, and God gave him some good instruction, and he told him what he needed to hear. And the latter half of Job's life was extremely blessed, even more so than the beginning. So, example of Job's very descriptive discussion and review of what he's going through is Job chapter 7 verse 20, where it says, I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of men? Why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden to myself? And then in Job chapter 10 verse 1, he says, my soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. Job continues to display his sorrow, and then God answers Job in a profound way in chapter 40. And it's interesting in chapter 40 and as well as 41, you know, God clearly asks questions he knows Job can't fulfill. And he does that in order to prove that there's no one that can fit God's stature. And then we look at verse number 7. That's the one where I really feel like Job, and matter of fact, any of us, if we heard this from God, it'd prepare us to be humble. In Job chapter 40, verse 7, God says, gird up thy loins now like a man. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. So in other words, God is saying, brace yourself. I'm going to ask you questions that you must try and answer. You know, there are situations that we may never know the answer to, or understand why God operates the way he does, which he also explained to Job as well. However, I definitely believe in time with God through prayer, he can definitely assist you where you can get the hope that you're looking for. There are so many levels to prayer that you can dive into. However, constantly using your effort, energy, and calories on complaining just makes you revisit your sorrow. But that's why I believe praying earnestly on the state that you want to get into can help. When we look at Psalm 116 verses 1 and 6, it says, I love the Lord because he hath heard my voice and my supplications. And then verse 6, it says, The Lord preserveth the simple. I was brought low, and he helped me. That's great assurance. And then when we look at Isaiah 41, verse 10, it says, Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. So I have a question for all of us. Looking at these two scriptures and what we discussed up to this point, what's the point of reviewing all these scriptures and scriptures in the word of the Lord that are to assist us and help us if we don't pray to God with those scriptures and the mindset that he is able to help us in mind? I feel that everybody has their Job moment or story. Even I have had that story where I questioned why God allowed something to happen in my life. And it took time for me to realize that I need to go beyond just focusing on the pain and the sorrow, but to start looking at praying for the outcome that I want. And it's not always easy to do that, but I truly believe that that's going to help people as they begin to heal from any suffering that they might be going through. And although I don't know why things happened the way they did, it still doesn't stop me from praying to the Lord. I can't even begin to explain how powerful the Lord is, let alone even conclude how powerful and how great he is. And it's for that reason I continue to pray for the outcome as opposed to focusing on the pain and the sorrow. I can appreciate how difficult it is to go through hard times or suffering. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And I'm trying to be as sensitive as I can, understanding that people go through, being diagnosed with a disease, or they've lost a loved one or loved ones. And it's not easy to necessarily go through those things. And in no way am I saying that people have to get over it at a certain pace or certain period. Because people grieve, people process things differently. They react to different bits of suffering differently than others. So I totally understand that. And myself being there, been through that as well. I understand the importance of going through that. But what I will say is, as you go through that period, start to think about the outcome you want to get to, and start putting the energy and focus on praying for that, and not to focus solely, or eventually not to focus at all, on the pain and the sorrow that the situation is putting you through. It's not a matter of ignoring it or forgetting about it, but put your focus on the prayer outcome you're looking for. Focusing on the prayer and not solely on the pain. So with that, I hope this video has provided some encouragement and some hope to those who have watched it, and that that the Lord is definitely on your side, and that despite whatever heartaches or suffering you might have or are going through, I'm praying and believing that you will be encouraged to focus on and pray on the outcome you're looking to receive, and not solely on focusing on the pain, as well as the sorrow that has been caused by the situation. So I pray that you're all doing well, and I know the Lord will see you through and continue to strengthen you as you continue to live this life. Be well, everyone. Shalom.